Hi everyone, welcome back to MovieTube. I'm Jade and I'm here with Jordan.
Hello.
And the two of us have just finished watching episode 1 of Halo, this TV series on Paramount Plus. And we thought we would give you a kind of fresh thoughts out of the watching experience. And then overall, once we finish each of the episodes, we'll probably also do like a kind of review discussion and chat with you all about how we felt about it overall. But yeah, if you're excited, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we shall get into it.
Yeah. So I thought we could do like a reaction to each episode, and at the end do like a whole sort of ranking, I guess. But I wanted to sort of watch this and give our impressions, because we've both been on a Halo journey in the last year. I guess we're on MovieTube, so we should preface we've only recently both played through the whole games. I edited your first time ever on another channel we do, GamerTube, and then I played alongside because I was like, I've never jumped into Halo either. So in the last like year and 6 months, I guess we've kind of went through every single piece of Halo content in the games wise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and a lot of reaction content as well, which you've witnessed all of it as well.
Yeah, like a lot of hidden Xperia and things like that, with like touching on comics and extended lore and things in the Halo universe. But yeah, so I thought we'd talk about this. What did you think? Do you jump in, give me your opinion first? What did you think of episode 1?
Okay, overall, it started with my interest kind of lowered, and then I was getting more and more excited, and it was more like I was more interested as it went on. And I found it pretty fun towards the end.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of the same as you at the start. Like, I didn't have particularly high expectations. Not like obviously it's video game adaptations, right? You don't really go in with high expectations. We haven't had a lot of good ones, and I don't really know much about Paramount Plus, so I wasn't. My expectations for Paramount Plus haven't been. It's not like a HBO Max show, you know, which I would usually associate with a better budget or more better quality when it comes to these things. But I thought it was decent. I thought it was just decent. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. I liked some elements, but there was also a equal amount of elements where I was like, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a middle ground.
Totally.
On how I feel about it.
So should we talk first about the things that we were less hot on?
Well, I guess we should preface, we're probably going to spoil the episode for anybody watching.
Yes, so this probably will be spoiler-filled, because I guess that's the play-by-play for what we're doing.
Yeah, so talk about the things that you liked first. Yeah, we'll go through that.
Oh, I thought we were doing dislike first.
Yeah, you could do that too.
So then we go positive at the end.
We should start with positive, because I think the negative is probably more loaded, because it comes from more Halo knowledge, whereas like things we like can be more or like not as digging deep, you know what I mean? Like deeper cuts that way. It's up to you though.
No, that's fair. I mean, from the positives, I really do like how Master Chief's suit looks. I think they did a really great job with the physical aspect of it. It looks very like real, but very true to the game as well.
Yeah, it does.
And I do like how at one point they refer to him as Demon, which is
that was a good one.
Yeah, as you know, that is his nickname according to the Covenant. And I think they also had some really cool lines that were pretty down to earth and didn't seem too like wacky and silly, and it kind of reminded me of some lines from Halo Infinite. So like, for the example, when he was like when the girl was like, is that your way of saying you don't feel well? And he was like, yes. And that reminds me of when I think it was
Cortana. No, the weapon.
The weapon, the new Cortana.
If he's okay, and he says, no, I'm not.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very similar energy. Yeah, I definitely know what you're referencing there. But
exactly. And that just felt kind of true to Master Chief's growth in the games and his way of expressing himself when he becomes, I guess, more of himself, which was very quick to happen in this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Shall we just say? But yeah. And otherwise, I gotta mention, I think High Charity looked really visually cool when it like showed the entire building colony existence. Oh my god, that looked really nice. And the prophets, the nasty prophets,
they looked great.
Really good.
One looked great.
We only saw one so far, but looked really good and nasty. Very nasty.
Yeah, I agree with you. The suits on the Spartans look pretty fantastic for the most part. Look really cool.
Not just Chief.
Yeah, Chief looks the best, and they kind of like it's a like a 9 out of 10 suit. Like I honestly think they really. I love the color scheme and I love the cinematography when he's just sitting in which I thought it was a pelican, but we find out it is a condor. And I agree with you with the high charity visuals. I think the visuals in some of the location set pieces in particular looked quite good along with the suits, but I guess that's another negative I was about to jump into and talk about. And the visuals in some aspects, especially the action, don't live up to what I think the ambition was.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed the action at the start, which is kind of the only big action set piece throughout the episode. There's some smaller little ones, and I guess a suspenseful sequence towards the ending of the episode.
Yeah.
And but I think the visuals get stronger as the episode goes. It kind of limits itself more, and I think that's where it works better.
Truly,
but,
yeah.
But I like the visuals. I like the suits a lot. The music was good, although we didn't hear the main Halo theme. I think they're gonna stay away from it. But I guess and we see a lot. I like seeing some of the characters. We seen both Keys.
Yeah, Miranda and
Halsey.
Yeah, Halsey.
Yeah, and Jake. Is it Jacob Keys?
I completely forget his first name. Oh my god. I saw him as Captain Keys.
Yeah, Captain Keys. I don't know.
Keys.
Yeah, Captain Keys. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of those characters, so that was cool, and I enjoy that. There's some different threads. There's people maybe they don't know, but I'm sure if you're watching this and you've kept up, you do know it's a Silver Age. I think that's what they're calling it, but it's like it's not canon, so it's like taking its own story approach. I believe I could be wrong, and people could correct me, but so it's not following the story of the games. Yeah. This is like a divergent story.
1,
so
2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing their own thing, but it's going to be with the same characters, sort of like a reshuffling or a retelling of the events in a different way. So. Yeah. But I enjoyed some aspects. I'm intrigued by some of the story plots. But so I thought it was good in some areas.
Yeah, and I think like you said, like a lot of the characters that show up that you see like in the original games, and they kind of have a different path or thread than what they do in the games. So that keeps you intrigued because you don't know automatically what's going to happen or how that character's going to behave. So that adds interest.
I also was a bit surprised, but I guess I kind of like the brutality.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that took me back as well. I didn't even realize what it would be rated or something, but towards the start with the action, I mean,
it made the Covenant scary, like the Elite scary.
True, like they don't care about like kids dying and stuff.
Yeah, some of those sequences are really suspenseful and set the tone for what they are in the series.
Yeah,
and I thought that worked well. And then obviously the way that they look at Chief, and when he lands in that place and we see the people react to him, was a really cool starting off point for the show, and I understood why they use those people and the insurgents, are they called?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But do we start off with them? Yeah, and I was a bit confused. I was like, I wonder why we're starting here, but it makes sense that you get that point of view of the Elite's power and then who Chief is to these people. Like, he is this legend, and that we already know him of in the games. He already is in this story as well.
Yeah,
so it makes sense why they did it. But yeah, so those are my positives. I thought it was a decent episode, and they've got me in for episode 2.
Yes.
Like, I'll happily watch it. I'm intrigued to see where they're going to go, but I didn't love every aspect of it, but I would say that I liked Pablo Schreider, I think his name is, the man that is playing Master Chief himself, playing John 117.
Yeah, should we mention the big elephant that happened in the episode?
Yeah, well, we could talk about it when we get more into the episode, I guess. But it's up to you. But I liked his performance. I thought he did a good job with the voice lines. Like, it's obviously not. Is it Steve Downes? Yeah. I believe is the voice of Chief in the games. He's like an iconic voice, of course.
Yeah.
So you're not going to replace him, but it took pretty quick to warm up to it, to be honest. Like, I thought he did a good job.
No, I think it's smart going in like a different direction, not trying to make someone mimic the same voice as Steven, because they're not going to. So yeah, just give it a different but strong voice, and that's really cool.
And he's with Silver Team now, not Blue Team. So
yeah, not Blue Team. And they're pretty cool as well. Like, one's got a sniper, one's got that like little magnum thing. Like, yeah. Yeah, they all had their character intro moment, which is very like video gamey. Yeah.
But look, it was cool. We got to get a bit of their action beat. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can jump into that moment if you want to. Just reveal it. Go for it.
All right. So mega spoiler alert. In the first episode, they showed Master Chief's face. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. I expected it in the show, but like not that early.
Yeah, like maybe the last episode or like.
And he keeps
Yeah.
it off. He keeps that thing
Yeah,
off for like
he keeps that thing off.
he was
Yeah.
just hanging about talking.
Yeah. It was so weird. I would have thought at least they'd just pop it straight back on and then you're like just got a glimpse. But no.
I'm like really mixed on it because at one point I'm like, oh well, I guess they're setting the tone that this is different. This isn't the chief that you 100% know. We're going a different direction. So it's like I guess it's good to kind of set expectations in that way. But at the same time, I was like, when he's helping, was it Kawa? I'm forgetting her name. Kwan. He's like, pull the thing harder, and he's got his helmet off. He's like, it just feels weird. Like,
it feels so weird.
It was going too long. Like I was like, all right, put it back on now. You know?
Put it back on, dog.
Yeah,
like you're exposed.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't love it, and I also just think that although they were trying to set expectations, and I understand that, I think that they went too quickly with the growth of his character. Like he immediately, and we don't know where he's at. We're jumping on Chief in the middle of a story or an arc to an extent, but it felt like him and Kwan. He decided to help her too quickly, and I know there was conflictions of him saying like I don't know, but to me it just felt like where we started and where we ended happened very quickly without a lot of development to justify it. But that can be pilots, first episodes of a show can be clunky like that to set up what is to come, and
especially when there's already like history to this character and he's apparently done other not necessarily atrocities, but other hairy situations before where she mentions that her mum was killed by Master Chief.
Well, they have like they're adding that layer of moral ambiguity with the character and adding a little bit more like of the politics there of like war politics, I should say,
and how much he listens to his higher ups.
And that's always been a part of Halo, especially in some of the later games we see. Unfortunately, 5 tried to do a lot of that and didn't nail it, but so it's interesting. But do you want to jump into the negatives?
Okay, I mean, for me, the biggest negative that was just kind of consistent towards, especially the first half of the episode was some of the CG and the effects were a little bit weird, to say the least.
Yeah, I totally, I understand that. CG is not something usually pulls me out, but it was like odd shots. It was one where he threw the assault rifle on the floor. It just didn't look good. A lot of the jumping around, they just like focused on it too much. Where it's like, if it's not ready, why keep the camera on it? But
on that,
But I didn't. Yeah, the CG wasn't. It's Halo, right? You expect it to be like, it's the same as like you take another bigger series like a Gears of War or a God of War, and you kind of expect it to live up to the spectacle of, because they are the AAA, they are the blockbusters of the gaming world, right?
Yeah.
So you expect them to look like Jurassic World or something. So it's like when
with the quality,
when the CG isn't that great, it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
Because Halo is the pinnacle of like Xbox, right? Like it is that big blockbuster for Xbox. So when it doesn't look that great, it's a little bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And obviously, a lot of that has to do with, I guess, they filmed in a lot of harsh daylight for the characters. Never helps. Not a good idea. Yeah,
and it's also Paramount Plus. That budget isn't a $300 million movie.
Yeah, so you don't know where they were limited, but you can just tell, like in some areas, and especially like even just the regular like Spartan assault rifles, which are human guns. The flash was really weird on the edge of the gun. I don't know. I found that very, very odd.
Yeah. Sometimes it looked really good quality, and then sometimes it kind of looked like it was on Sci-Fi Channel. Like it kind of was going back and forth between looking really good and then just like, oof, that's not ready. But I think it's like a CG's. I can get over bad CG when there's a really great character work and a good story at the heart. That's not something that really bugs me. But for me, I just feel like it lacked that Halo epicness a little bit.
Yes.
It didn't have that grandiose feel that I associate with Halo personally.
You're
for me.
Right. Yeah.
And not that it isn't to come. It's only episode 1, so that's why I say I think it's a decent episode. Yeah. I just didn't get this.
Yes.
And have this like, it's a moment. It's an event. Halo always felt like an event and this sort of big thing, and I didn't really get a lot of that. It felt way more Star Trek-y, sci-fi, sort of like a science fiction political war series than Halo at times.
I think especially because where they're dropping us in the story, I'm not sure how much they've experienced with the Covenant or not, but it seems like they haven't experienced very much. So
Well, the people seem to not believe, like they didn't know that they were a thing. So
that they were a thing, so
Yeah.
the average like people of these colonies weren't aware. They thought their enemy was just the UNSC.
Well, yeah.
So yeah,
I guess in the start of the, well, I shouldn't reference much of the games because obviously this is a different canon, but we do know that the Spartans were created to fight insurrectionists to begin with.
Yeah.
But as I said, I don't want to jump to conclusions of where they're going, and even with this artifact, which we said it gives us shades of Forerunner tech. For anybody watching, I don't want to jump to like anticipating conclusions because I know that this is completely non-canon. I'm in for the ride.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to jump to anything or expect anything, because I think with this kind of thing, especially when they're not following the games, expecting something will lead me to feel disappointed. So
totally, yeah.
you know, but
especially with the highs of like 1, 2, and 3 of the Halos. So yeah, you can't get in that mindset. But yeah, it definitely seems like they're going very early in the lore side of things.
Yeah, My other negative is the character work outside of Chief and is it Quan? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Quan.
Yeah, Quan.
Yeah.
The character work outside of that with Halsey and both Keys and a lot of the other sort of political figures back at the UNSC felt very flat and very sci-fi TV to me.
Yes,
very political jargon thrown around and like order this and order that, and it just felt like, ooh, you know, can we get back to Chief? Because at least I feel like there was chemistry, there was fun to be had, even if I wasn't. And like even with the back and forth of like, is that how you say you're not feeling well? Like there's, it felt more Halo even in those smaller moments that I was looking for.
Yes. Whereas exactly like you said, like with this kind of political aspect, of course, there's tons of politics in Halo, absolutely, but it lent more towards like a political drama where the evil people are just plainly evil and there's no goodness in their heart and there is no like shades of human to them. They're just a one-sided 2D character. At least, some of them seem that way.
But yeah, as I said, you pointed out, and I think that's very true, is they're dropping us in the middle of a narrative here, seemingly. Yeah. A lot of these characters' motivation seem to be set in stone, and now we're just following Master Chief's divergent from what his storyline was heading towards, or now his changing moment. So it's taking a bit of a different approach than, and I guess that's kind of what Halo 1 had, but obviously a game is different than a show, and how you structure that narrative changes. But overall, I think it's decent. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say like 6.5, 7. Like that's where I'm at. Like I think that, I don't know, I haven't seen any reactions. I don't know how people feel about it. I think there's obviously going to be people that are going to dislike it, but I think it's different from the show, the game, right? Like it's a different timeline. So I don't know, like maybe people are offended by some of the changes, because there's some big changes. Obviously, he takes his helmet off, and we see a glimpse of Cortana, and she seems like she's human.
Yeah, she looked like just a bold Halsey.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, hey.
They'll paint her blue, like, but
yeah, who knows? Yeah, she was skin color and everything, so that's worrying.
Yeah, as I said, it's a different timeline. I wish they were just translating Halo 1, 2, 3. Like, I know people will be like, wait, you want something new and creative, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm always good with that, but I think that those games are so straightforward first-person shooter narrative. There's so much to mine and dig into in those games regardless.
Like, absolutely. It's ripe for the picking. It's exactly what you've said to Nick and I in past about with Resident Evil. It's like you're so surprised that, especially with the most recent Resident Evil movie, that they went through 1, 2, and kind of 3 all in one movie, when there's so much stuff there for them to pick at, and so much like work that they could easily have laid out in front of them to take their time. And yeah, it's just surprising that people don't tend to do that.
They're all on a race to catch up to build a new universe, like a Marvel, you know, when it's like just focus on character work and making something good. But I like the world building here, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think it's going to blow any out of the water. It's not much watch TV, my personal opinion right now.
Yeah.
But it was a fun episode. It's a fun science fiction action show so far. Yep. And let's see if it can transform into a really great show over the course of 10 episodes.
Hell yeah. And I hope I get to see some Ungoy saying some very weird things.
Yeah, I think we glossed over, so, like, the shield sound effect was awesome.
Oh my god, yes, they had the classic sound of the armor recharging.
The guns looked great. A lot of the props and Easter eggs to the game were really, really great. I loved
Yeah.
seeing that stuff. So that
Yeah,
was
the
all. The
elites had their
Pelicans look
classic
great.
plasma guns. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pelicans. They
I'm
looked
trying to
really
think. There was
good.
a lot of really cool callbacks and things that
Yeah.
were very
Well,
Halo.
the elites went to their camouflage. They'd
Yeah.
like do this thing onto their chest, and then they'd
Yeah.
go camo, which was very cool, and it actually looked pretty good, that
Yeah.
camouflage part. And the visual of the bullets hitting their shield, because you know how like Spartans and them
Yeah.
have shields, so that looked really cool too.
Yeah, the shield beeping really made me go, oh, that's so that. Like
You
that
were
was a
like,
moment. I was
"Yay!"
like, yay, that's really cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, overall, it's fun. Like it was fun, just fun.
just fun.
It's hard
And-
to judge. It throws a lot at you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only one episode in,
Mm.
so like it could build up more hype, you know, as it goes in.
My prediction is it will probably disappoint, but I'm hoping.
I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, I think we rounded that off pretty good. Pretty much gave our number, which is a roughly 6.5 for the first episode. So yes, please let us know in the comments down below your thoughts. And are you excited? Are you going to watch the whole series? And if you do, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because we will probably be doing a full discussion / thoughts at the end of the entire series that we watched. So yeah, we shall see you then, and thank you so much for watching. Say bye, Jordan.
Bye.